The first problem I will talk about is my city problem. Lake Minnetonka needs to get rid of zebra mussels because they are going to continue to hurt the ecosystem and take away from the native organisms. Getting rid of the zebra mussels would not hurt any of the other fish or plants in the pond but would require them to close the lake for a few days. The zebra mussels are having a very negative effect on the food chain in the ecosystem because they consume plants that some of the fish in the lake eat, which is having less and less food for the rest of the organisms in the food chain. They are affecting the water cycle because Lake Minnetonka is one of the major bodies in the local water cycle, and the zebra mussels are having undesirable effects on it. The native organisms of the ecosystem are trying to adapt to the mussels, but are and will continue to have a very tough time in doing so, mainly because of the effect that they have on the food chain and the food supply. If nothing about this is done, in 5 years the health of the lake will have continued to deteriorate, which is less and less fish being in it. In 50 years, if the problem is not addressed, the lake will seem like an entirely different place and ecosystem. The native plants and animals to the lake will pretty much be completely gone. Far less people, if any, will continue to use the lake for recreation because the quality of it will probably drop so low. The BSM problem I will be talking about is our paper waste. It is more than possible for Benil to use a lot less paper because of the fact that we recently got laptops and have numerous ways to turn homework in electronically. This will affect food webs because the plants that we cut down to get the paper are a source of food for animals. So if we can have some of the trees, it will positively affect everyone in their food chain. All the current paper being used hurts the carbon cycle because it creates pollution everywhere from how we cut it down and make it to the way we ship it around. Organisms can try to adapt to the changes and probably will be able to considering how long we have been creating paper, and these trees will not completely run out. However, it will continue to have a negative effect on their whole ecosystem. If we continue to use the amount of paper we are using, in 5 years there will be less trees available to get it from, and the affected areas will have negative effects. If nothing is done within 50 years, there will be less far trees to get paper from, if any, and the ecosystems in those areas will be completely different. If flooding in Australia has caused havoc. The flooding has been so bad that they have no transportation. They have tough ways of getting resources. Over 200,000 people have been affected by this flood, and it has hurt the economy of Australia. This very negatively affects the community there and has hurt many local businesses and put many locals out of work. This event could affect the climate of that area because it could provoke the beginning of seasonal rains and annual flooding. Recently in Arizona, there has been many tornadoes that thankfully have not killed anyone but has caused some serious damage. These tornadoes have resulted in 7 injuries. The area of Flagstaff has been completely damaged. They have negative effects in regards to the community because it destroys many people's businesses and houses. If these were to continue to happen, they could change the climate patterns of the area, and these could become annual tornadoes that require the people of those areas to be ready each and every year. Last fall in Minnesota, there was a record air pressure. The air pressure was so high that it has been the highest in nearly 30 years. This air pressure made it very hard to breathe for animals and citizens while doing activity. This negatively affects the community here because it is making it much harder for people to breathe, which means less people may be going outside and getting exercise. This also means that businesses which rely on people being outside and doing those things may suffer. If the air pressure remains that high or continues to get higher, it could mean very bad things for humans and animals, alike including it being much harder to breathe and not being able to partake in certain hobbies. The state of Florida usually never gets snow, but recently this climate event has stunned Floridians. The state of Florida has gotten snow and they do not know how to react. Some animals are not suited for snowy weather. The state of Florida does not have the resources to remove and melt snow. This could mean that they are in for the snow every year from now on, and would mean that they need to be prepared. This could mean that the summers there are going to be colder and the winters much harsher and filled with snow and ice. The effect that this snow has on a community there is not good because many businesses rely on outdoor activities in the warmth and sun, and if this is not there, they will not be making any money. This could also have a negative effect on tourism in the area because it is a major part of their community, but if it's not the classic Florida sun that everybody wants, then they will Indian natives are not used to cold temperatures, but recently in India the temps have been so cold that it has affected the living life there. The animals and resources have been frozen. It's very hard to these natives to react to this weather when they have only been used to the hot temperature. The community will be affected because not only are they not used to it, but many of their traditions are based around the warm weather that they are used to. So if this is not the case, then they will no longer be able to do these things. This could hurt many farmers and people who sell fruits and vegetables in the markets, because they will not be able to sell as much. That's another environmental project in the strings.